All right, well, today I have with me Shelly Wang from Cashflow Portal. So, Shelly, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me, Todd.
Good, yeah. Thanks for coming on. So, for our listeners who maybe aren't familiar with Cashflow Portal, could you tell us a little bit about your company? What is it? What does it do?
Absolutely. So, Cashflow Portal is a real estate syndication software company. We're about 2.5 years old and we have 26 full time employees. Most of us are engineers and we're based in Seattle. I myself live in Brooklyn, New York, and I've been in the US for about 4 years, having moved from Australia. So it's been a great time. But essentially, the company was started because our founder, Perry Zhang, started syndicating about 5 or 6 years ago. And he had a tech background to begin with. And as he was going through the process, finding a team, raising capital, asset managing, he didn't really find something that really suited his needs as a GP and his needs as an LP. And so, leveraging his experiences, his knowledge, and his network in Seattle, he started Cashflow Portal. And so now we serve over 350 syndicators and just over 4,000 investors. And thus far have raised around 900 million through the platform. So we're very proud and I'm very happy to be here today.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, well, thanks for sharing that. And so what would you say? Like, what are some problems that Cashflow Portal solves for people, or why would a syndicator maybe need something like Cashflow Portal?
Yeah, great question. So I personally am not a syndicator. However, I have purchased a couple of single family homes back in Australia. So I'm a little bit aware of what that process entails. Now, by my understanding, if you're syndicating, not only do you have to worry about finding the property, closing the property, managing your team of GPs, and hundreds of other things that come with syndicating a deal. The last thing you want to do is not automate your capital raising process. So, tracking everything in Excel, tracking all of the legal documentation through email, that can get quite manual and time consuming. And it kind of doesn't help you with organization going forward as well with the investors. So, the problem that we're trying to solve is making it super easy for GPs to raise capital, manage investor relations, and then manage the asset going forward. So paying distributions, providing updates to investors, and sharing important tax documentation like K1s.
Okay, and I'm just curious: do you sometimes get people that are working on their first deal that are interested in using Cashflow Portal, or is it more when people are farther along, or all of those situations?
I would say we cater to every size and type of syndicate, and we handle things like JVs as well. So whether you're a one-man shop, two-man shop, syndicating your first deal, maybe a fourplex, small block of units, to people who are managing millions and millions of dollars. The workflow will suit any type of deal, any type of underlying asset, and you can grow your team to as big or keep it as tight as you like.
Okay. Okay, great. And so, if somebody's syndicating, they're trying to raise money. How would they? I guess who would be a good candidate for using this? Is it anybody in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say anybody who's currently looking for a deal. Right. I get a lot of customers say, "Oh, we're not ready. We don't have a deal yet," but it is excellent to, first of all, get organized beforehand, because once you have a deal, I know that it's going to be incredibly busy, and this may sort of not be the priority if you have an LOI out or if you have to negotiate on your loan. So having a portal upfront can also mean that you can start also tracking your contacts. So we do have a CRM embedded in the portal where you can start putting in the names of people that you're speaking to that are interested in potentially either joining your GP team or investing in the deal going forward. So I would say if you're thinking about syndicating this year, then you should definitely start checking out an investor portal.
Okay, that's interesting. So not wait till you get the deal and then try to set something up, but get that set up first. And I can see how that would make sense because if you're trying to, once you have a deal, then you've got so many other things that you're trying to do, and rather than trying to like learn a new system and getting people put in there and trying to figure out how to like communicate with people through something new. I can see how it makes sense to do before you get the deal. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we offer free access as well. So it's not something that, you sight unseen need to kind of sign up for. We give you free access so that you can familiarize yourself with the portal, with the software. But when it comes time for you to actually raise, so when you have a deal and you want to send it out for soft commitment, or you've got the legal documentation from your attorneys, we also offer white gloved onboarding support at no additional cost. And we help you stage your deal, stage your offering, and get you ready to send it out to investors to raise.
Wow. Okay. That sounds great. So would you be able to show us a little demo of your service so we can see what it looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me jump in. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Wonderful. So what you're looking at is the GP view. So this is what you'll be seeing if you were staging a deal. Let me take you quickly through what the capital raising process looks like. So if you're staging a deal, you would jump in here and create your asset. So we allow you to add multiple assets if you're doing a portfolio deal, or in single assets for any type of multifamily that you're looking to syndicate. So name of property, property information, like what the property type is, the class, number of units, net asset value. So very much property focused. We also allow you to create custom classes or equity buckets. So this is more like what the typical GP-LP split would look like. It's usually 80-20, but we allow you to do 75-25, any type of way that you want to structure it for your investors. And we handle all different types of distribution calculations. So whether that's cash on cash, IRR, fixed cash on cash, upside split, we allow you to enter this because when it comes time to create distributions, we will automatically calculate the payments for you. Right. So when it's time to start going out to your investors to raise money, you would create an offering. Now, the way that Cashflow Portal works is we work on a unique URL basis. So every single one of the offerings has its own unique link. And you send this link out to your investors, and they will see a nice, clean, streamlined showcase of the investment opportunity. So why is this important? I think it's important because investors like to have a place to go to check out if it's your first deal or your 10th deal, they like knowing where to go. And then having all the information in one place makes it a lot easier for them to review all the information. So there's an overview of the opportunity, projected cash flow for the first 5 years, a summary video, which can be a webinar or walkthrough of the property, where it's located on a map, about the offering, the asset details, and then the investor-facing documents. So these can be the investor summary, the OM, the PPM, the subscription agreement, or the operating agreement.
Nice.
Right? So as you can see, it's nice to have everything in one place. And we actually don't gate this page behind a login. So anybody with the link can view. It's only when they want to start investing that we ask them to create an account.
But I would think this could still be used with those doing 506B and, where they have to have a relationship already, because nobody's going to just guess that website address like that link. You're
Exactly.
going to have to them, so you can still share it with people, just the ones that you want to see it, I guess.
Absolutely. And you bring up a great point on we do support 506B, 506C, and we offer our customers, investors, the ability to verify their accreditation through the portal as well if they are doing a C deal.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I like the overview too. That's nice to just get kind of a snapshot of, the numbers that people are going to want to know, because that's the first thing people typically want to know is like, what's the minimum investment, how long, what's the return, all of that. So I like how that's right at the top.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me take everybody through a quick demonstration of the investment funnel. This is what I think is the most important part of every portal, is getting through the subscription process and obviously making that a seamless experience for investors. I'll jump in here. So our funnel is 4 steps. Firstly, starting with the LLC. So let's use So easily create a profile, either as an individual, an IRA, a joint tenancy, or an LLC. Select the sponsor, enter the minimum investment size, which here is 50,000. And then we've done something a little bit unique where we have digitized the investor questionnaire that's usually preceding the subscription agreement. This is taken from the SEC, so it's perfectly legal to use instead of the PDF documents. But what this does is it makes it super easy for investors to fill out the questions, and it just reduces friction overall while going through the process.
So they kind of create a profile of all of their information. They can use that multiple times. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. They can copy over a previous questionnaire, update their information so that it's present day, and then submit that as well. So, typically that cuts down the document signing form filling process by about 90% because it's just a better experience through the website.
Yeah, anything you can do to make it easier for the investors is a good thing. So
absolutely, that's right. I'm sure people watching this have taken calls at all hours trying to walk their investors through the funnel, but hopefully this makes it a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So say you've completed the questionnaire, and then you can jump in and e-sign all of the documents. So we partner with HelloSign, who has a really robust API, and that means we can, put the right signature blocks in the right place for you when we get the documents, and also have certain fields that are pre-completed, so that it further reduces the amount of information they need to enter. Right. So I have completed the investment, and that was it. So that was the whole funnel from beginning to end from an investor's point of view.
Okay, and that lets you know, like as the syndicator, that this person is serious, like they're ready to invest, and they and I guess at some point when you're ready, they can actually wire the money and everything. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you what it looks like from the GP's point of view.
Okay, great.
All right, so I'm going to switch back to syndicating, go back into that deal, and as you can see, a new investment has come through, and it says 1 of 2 signed. Take note here of percent of class or bucket and ownership percentage. This, like I said, we automatically calculate that for you from the classes that you've set up, so super easy when it comes to distribution time. But as a GP, the first thing I would do is check the questionnaire just to see if there were any errors. It's a lot easier to send back to get them to fill it out here than do it on the documents themselves. Say that you're happy with the questionnaire results. You can then jump in and countersign that document that we just signed from the investor's point of view. Okay, so now you can easily countersign. Okay, so I'm just countersigned. And so my next step, and this is really depending on what type of workflow the GP likes to do. Some people like to send out wire instructions before and some after. So we've made it easy for them to just send the wire instructions by email. The investor will get a link to come back to the portal to view them. And then once the wire hits your bank account, you can then send a confirmation email to the investor saying that, yes, you have received the funds.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good to let them know it came through, so they're not wondering what happened.
Exactly. So we like to keep the GP and the LP updated at every step of the funnel, the investment funnel. Sorry, so that everyone can keep track.
Nice. Okay, that's great.
All right. So let me show you something from the investor's point of view, because the impetus is always to get an investor portal for the investor. Right. So we have a really comprehensive dashboard for people to log into and then look at their investments on a portfolio level. So total contributions, total distributions received, as well as any in-progress investments. So if they've invested, we keep them updated with the status of, is it waiting countersign? Have you received wire instructions? That sort of thing. And then you can also drill in on a deal-by-deal level. So this is the deal that we just invested in. As you can see everything here. So amount invested, total distributions paid, cash on cash. I mean, this is obviously my deal. It would be a great payout if it was my actual investment. And then where it's located on the map, as well as all of the documentation related to this deal and transactions like distributions. So we just wanted to create something that investors can come to, see all of their investments in one place, and just have that single login without needing to kind of flip between different deals.
Nice. Okay. And I noticed that you clicked on something a minute ago that said switch to an investor and switch to syndicating. So I guess as the syndicator, you have the ability to click that and see what your investors are seeing. Is that right? Without having to.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a unique feature of Cashflow Portal is we have a single login for GPs to both stage their deals and invest in their own deals, because typically the GP team does like to invest some of their own money. And so we just provide that single login and make it, again, easier for both sides.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's great.
Yeah. So, that's one thing that kind of we've thought about through Perry's experience as a syndicator. I think before he had one login to stage and then he had to create another account to invest in his own deals. Something else that I think is quite unique to Cashflow Portal is our ability to add addendums directly through the portal. So I'm sure everybody watching at some point has had an investor say, oh, I made a mistake on one of my documents. What do I do? And your option is either to print out those signed documents and manually make the amendment and then re-upload it, or some people just delete the investment and start again. But the risk there is they will make a different mistake and then you have to go through that process again, right? And so we allow you to correct it directly in the portal. And so you would be adding an addendum. So these are the documents that we just signed and countersigned. So we would upload that signed version. Everything is still tracked through HelloSign. And so this will also add a line item to as a record. And so here, what I can do is say I've made a mistake on my social security number. I can just add a text box, cross that out, and then add another text box, the date signed, as well as the initials, and then save that, and then send that to the investor to sign.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So correct it without having to go through a lot of
Exactly. And so you see here, when the investor signs in, they get a prompt to sign now, and they can go in, sign the documents, and then that is then saved. And so it just makes it a lot simpler to correct errors, but also, I guess, a lot more compliant because it stays within that same workflow.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to take everyone around the portal.
Yeah, thanks for showing us that. I definitely appreciate that. And and I guess one other question I was wondering is, I mean, obviously we don't want to put down any of the other syndication software companies, but in general, what would you say are some advantages then of Cashflow Portal over some of the other options, or why would someone maybe choose Cashflow Portal over something else? I know you touched on a couple of things that were unique about it, but maybe you could kind of summarize what you feel like is unique with that.
Yeah. If I was to summarize how we're different is we get all the little things right. So if you think about the addendum piece, the questionnaire piece, there's a lot of little features throughout the platform that you may not notice because it's there because you don't feel that pain. And so I would say that the workflow for the GP and the LP is designed specifically from real world hands-on knowledge. And so far, we've had some great sort of feedback on both the GP and the LP workflow. But I would say the one thing that really sets us apart is that we also have a marketplace for syndicators to create a profile and share that with new investors that we're bringing to the platform. So I just wanted to have a caveat here as well. This is not available to the investors that the GPs bring in. So if you bring in a pool of investors in your deal that you've marketed to, they will not see the marketplace on their dashboard. However, if someone comes in through Google or through any of Cashflow Portal's marketing efforts, they will land on our Cashflow Portal marketplace. And this is somewhere where we will advertise our sponsors' 506c deals. So as you can see, we have a couple of 506c deals at the moment. But what's unique about it is we also advertise our sponsors' biographies or profiles, if you will, and their experience in multifamily syndication, and encourage more investors to connect with them, establish a relationship, and then potentially invest in their 506b deal going forward.
Okay, so they syndicators a way for like more investors to find them. Like they could potentially find the syndicator with on their own, essentially. Is that right? Or through your marketing?
Exactly. So our vision here is to really democratize multifamily investing and make it available for all investors who really want exposure to this asset class. And as we all know, this is still a relatively new area, and not a lot of people know about the amazing benefits that come with investing in a syndication. And so we do have, things like educational articles for net new investors to come in to, if this is their first rodeo and they don't know what the difference between single family investment and multifamily investment, syndication investment, is, then there are some articles to kind of prime them. But the most value that we sort of bring to new investors is that ability to directly connect with the sponsors or the ones that are going to be managing their money. And the way that I like to think of it is, it's like the equivalent of meeting the CEO of the company whose stock you just bought. It really is quite similar, because once you meet that team, you have that relationship, you have that trust. That's how these sorts of the deals and the capital raising move on. So we're trying to bring all our sponsors net new investors and increase their network and increase the relationships that they have.
Okay, nice. And so you mentioned 506c earlier. So do you have to have a 506c deal to post in the marketplace? Is that right?
Well, we kind of cover all avenues, right? So if you have a 506c, we will post that on Marketplace for you. We can advertise it as well through our channels. But at the same time, you should also have a biography, because if you don't have a deal at the time, or you have a 506b deal, you can still make those connections because your biography is always displayed at all times.
Oh, nice. So even if you're doing 506b and can't advertise the deal, people can still find you as the syndicator.
Correct.
Connect with you and potentially invest down the road, or once they have a relationship, or or later when you have a deal. Okay. That's
yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that is a unique feature. I haven't seen that before. So, okay, nice. And but you said though that syndicators don't have to worry about basically losing their investors to other syndicators, because their investors won't see that marketplace. It's only people that come in another way. Is that right?
That is correct. So this is the marketplace is very separate from the portal, and we have a different login process for investors that join through the marketplace. And so there's absolutely a wall between investors that come in through the GPs and then ones that come in organically through our marketing efforts.
So could you tell us a little bit how the pricing works? I mean, maybe not the specific numbers, but just like, is there a setup fee, monthly fee? Like how does that work?
Great question, Todd. And, further to your earlier question about, who's suitable for Cashflow Portal, an early syndicator or someone who's more experienced, our pricing actually is designed for all audiences as well. So we just look at the total funds under management that you have. So think about the money that you're raising from your investors or managing for your investors. Hypothetically, you purchase an asset and that's $5 million, but you need to raise $3 million. That $3 million is your funds under management. And so we just look at that total and then we charge on a monthly or an annual basis. And as you grow your portfolio, our pricing will scale with you, but it becomes cheaper and cheaper the more money that you're managing for your investors. And so everyone can just jump on our website and have a look. And there's a sliding scale on there for you to see which model fits you best.
Okay, nice. So it doesn't it's not priced in a way that you have to be, really big to be able to start using it, but you can start using it and it'll scale as you get bigger. The pricing adjusts to according to.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there like a setup fee for it or anything like that?
No, so I believe we're the only portal that provides white gloved onboarding support. And so what that means is when you're ready and you have your documents, we would create all of these e-signature templates for you. So what you saw me sign through the portal in the demo earlier, those are all templates we create for you at no additional charge. And I also just wanted to give a shout out to our customer support team as well. They're super responsive. We would create a dedicated WhatsApp channel for each one of our customers or their teams. And we provide 14-hour support from Monday to Friday. And our customers typically get support within 30 minutes of asking a question. So, when you've got a lot going on and you're looking to raise, having that type of access, I think, is something that our customers really, really love.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's a kind of could be kind of a stressful time if you're trying to, raise money and maybe you're getting down to the wire and you don't want to wait days to get a response, if you're having a question or something. So nice. Okay, awesome. Well, that's great. Well, thanks for showing us all that. That's really, really cool and definitely helpful to see behind the scenes a little bit. It helps everyone to make a decision about, what system they're going to use for that. So awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. Thanks, Todd.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.